If your plant looks like this, drooping, dry, leaves hanging limp like forgotten laundry, clinging to life by the thinnest thread, don't give up just yet. You're about to learn a simple method that can bring almost any dying plant back from the edge, coaxing vitality back into roots that seemed beyond saving. I know that sounds too good to be true, but stay with me. In just a few minutes, you'll see proof that it really works, evidence that even the most wilted soul can find its way back to green. And all you need is something you probably already have at home, tucked away in a cabinet, waiting. So before you toss that pot aside, watch what happens when we try this on a plant that looks completely lost to the world. Hey, before we get started, if you love growing plants, or you've ever wondered why your green friends don't always love you back, hit that subscribe button. Every week we share real tested gardening tips that help your plants thrive, methods born from soil-stained hands and patient observation. No expensive tools, no guesswork, just practical plant care advice that actually works. The kind passed between gardeners over garden gates and sunny afternoons. And if you tap the bell icon, you'll be the first to see when new videos drop, like the first buds of spring breaking through winter soil. Alright, let's get into it. And trust me, this one's worth every second, every breath, every moment of your time. Let's be honest, every plant parent has had at least one heartbreak, one green companion that slipped away despite our best intentions. You bring home a new plant full of life and promise, leaves glossy and bright, stems sturdy and proud, and within weeks it's limp, brown, or worse, completely gone. You water it, you move it to a sunny spot where golden light pools on the floor, you even talk to it in soft voices, but nothing seems to help. I've been there too. My poor fiddle leaf fig looked like it had survived both a flood and a drought in the same week, its leaves curled and crispy at the edges, stems sagging like a tired sigh. Here's the thing. Most plants don't die because we don't care. They die because we're trying too hard or not in the right way, pouring love into them in a language they can't quite understand. Let's talk about what's really going on beneath the surface, in the hidden world of roots and soil. First, overwatering. It's the #1 silent killer in home garden care, more devastating than neglect. Too much water drowns the roots, cutting off oxygen and causing them to rot from the inside out, turning from healthy white to a sickly black mush. You'll see soft, blackened roots that give way under the gentlest pressure and smell that sour, swampy odor, like earth gone wrong, when this happens. Second, underwatering. When soil stays dry for too long, cracking like desert clay, plant cells collapse in on themselves. The leaves wrinkle or crisp like old parchment, and the roots stop pulling in nutrients. The whole system begins to shut down, retreating inward to protect what little moisture remains. Third, poor drainage. If your pot doesn't have holes, all that trapped moisture turns into a stagnant swamp down below, a suffocating prison for roots. Roots gasp and suffocate, and fungus takes over fast, spreading through the darkness. Good drainage is essential for healthy soil health, allowing air and water to move freely through the growing medium. Fourth, too much sunlight. Yes, plants love the sun, they reach for it instinctively. But direct light can actually scorch their leaves like paper held too close to flame, leaving dry patches and faded color behind, bleaching out the vibrant green. And finally, not enough light. Without enough exposure, plants can't photosynthesize properly, can't transform light into life. You'll notice slow growth, pale leaves that look almost ghostly, or that desperate stretch toward the window, stems elongating and weakening as they search for what they need. Understanding why your plant is struggling is the first step to saving it, to becoming fluent in the silent language of leaves and roots. And once you can spot these warning signs, reading them like words on a page, you're halfway to becoming the kind of plant parent who rarely loses one, who understands the delicate balance between too much and not enough. Now, here's where things start to change, where hope enters the story. After losing more plants than I'd like to admit, each one a small grief, I finally stumbled on something so simple it felt almost like a secret whispered through generations of gardeners. No store-bought products with complicated labels. No fancy fertilizers promising miracles. Just one common household item that revived nearly every plant I tried it on, breathing life back into roots I thought were beyond redemption. I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step, walking you through each movement, each decision. But don't skip ahead. This method only works if you prepare your plant properly first, laying the groundwork for recovery. In fact, that prep step is the reason most people fail when they try to revive a dying plant, rushing past the foundation in their eagerness to see results. Get this part right and you'll see new green shoots in just days, tender and fresh as morning. So let's get started with what to look for before you use the method. Learning to read the signs your plant is showing you. Before you can bring a plant back to life, you need to understand what's actually killing it, to diagnose before you treat. Every dying plant is trying to tell you something, speaking in the language of wilted leaves and discolored stems. We just have to learn how to listen, to pay attention with all our senses. So here's how to spot the real cause before doing anything else. Before taking action, start with the roots. They're the heart of your plant, the hidden foundation of everything you see above. Gently slide the plant out of its pot and take a look underneath, easing it free with careful hands. If the roots are firm, pale like cream, and a bit springy with life, you're in good shape. But if they're soft, dark brown like old coffee grounds, or almost black and slippery, that's root rot, the silent destroyer. It happens when there's too much water and not enough air, when the balance tips too far. The roots start to suffocate and decay, breaking down in the wet darkness, and the plant can't drink or breathe properly anymore. You might even notice a sour smell, sharp and unpleasant. That's bacteria and fungus at work, breaking down healthy tissue, consuming what was once alive. Now check the soil itself, really feel it. Touch it with your fingers, let it crumble between them. If it feels bone dry, almost powdery, crumbles easily like ash, and even pulls away from the edges of the pot leaving gaps, your plant is dehydrated, starving for water. This means the soil has gone hydrophobic, transformed into something that rejects moisture. It's repelling water instead of absorbing it, turning away the very thing it needs. When you pour water in, it just runs off like rain on pavement, instead of soaking down to the roots where it belongs. In that case, your plant is starving for moisture, no matter how often you water it, no matter how much you pour. Next, take a close look at the leaves, studying them like pages in a book. Drooping, curling inward protectively, or limp leaves usually mean the plant is under stress or gasping for oxygen, struggling to survive. It could be compacted soil pressing down too hard or poor drainage trapping water where it shouldn't be. If the leaves are turning yellow from the bottom up, spreading like a slow tide, that's often a sign of overwatering, of roots drowning in kindness. If they're crispy or brown at the edges, dry as autumn leaves, you're looking at too much sun or not enough humidity in the air around them, the environment too harsh. Also, inspect the stems, running your fingers gently along their length. Are they soft and mushy, collapsing under gentle pressure, or dry and brittle, snapping easily? Soft stems usually point to rot, creeping upward, climbing from the roots like a dark tide. Dry, woody stems tell you the plant is shutting down to survive, retreating into itself, conserving what little energy remains. As you go through these checks, don't rush, don't hurry past the details. The clues are all there, written in the plant's body. The color of the soil, whether it's rich and dark or pale and depleted, the smell, earthy and clean or sour and wrong, the feel of the roots, firm or mushy, the position of the leaves, reaching up or hanging down. Once you identify the real cause, once you understand the story the plant is telling, you'll know exactly what kind of rescue your plant needs. And hey, I'd love to know, what plant are you trying to save right now? What green friend has captured your heart and your worry? Drop it in the comments below. I might feature your plant in the next video and walk you through its recovery step by step, giving it the attention it deserves. Your story could help another gardener bring their green friend back to life. Could be the encouragement someone else needs to keep trying. Alright, here's the moment we've been building up to, the turning point in our story. The method that can bring almost any dying plant back to life. Pulling it back from the brink. And no, it's not a store-bought miracle formula with a glossy label and bold promises. It's something so simple you probably already have it sitting in your bathroom cabinet, waiting quietly. Hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide might sound like a strange thing to use on plants, almost counterintuitive, but it's actually one of the most powerful yet gentle treatments you can give them, a true gift to struggling roots. It's just water with an extra oxygen molecule, a tiny difference that changes everything. That extra oxygen is what makes the magic happen, what transforms this simple liquid into medicine. When roots start to rot or suffocate, trapped in wet soil without air, hydrogen peroxide gives them the oxygen boost they need to recover while killing harmful bacteria and fungi that cause decay, clearing away the infection. Think of it as a breath of fresh air for your plant's roots. Like throwing open windows in a stuffy room, restoring balance and clearing the way for new growth. Here's exactly how to do it step by step, each movement deliberate and caring. Step 1. Mix your solution with intention. In a bowl or watering can, combine 1 part of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water, measuring carefully. That's your healing mixture, your plant medicine. It's important not to make it stronger than that, no matter how tempting it is to think more is better. A mild solution works best, gentle yet effective. Too much peroxide can damage tender roots, burning them instead of healing, so stick to this ratio like a recipe handed down through generations. Step 2. Gently remove the plant from its pot, treating it with the tenderness it deserves. Hold the base of the stem between your fingers and ease it out carefully, rocking it slightly if needed. You'll probably see clumps of wet soil clinging to the roots, heavy and dark. Shake off as much as you can, letting the old soil fall away. If the soil smells sour or swampy, that funky odor that makes your nose wrinkle, that's a clear sign of rot taking hold. Step 3. Trim away the damaged roots with a steady hand. Take a clean pair of scissors or pruning shears, wipe down with rubbing alcohol, and cut off any roots that are soft, black as night, or slimy to the touch. Healthy roots should be pale like fresh cream, firm under your fingers, and flexible like young branches. Don't be afraid to trim, even if it feels like you're cutting away too much. Removing the bad parts actually helps the plant focus on growing new, healthy ones, directing its energy where it matters most. Step 4. Now it's time for the soak, the transformation moment. Place the roots directly into your hydrogen peroxide solution, lowering them like you're giving them a healing bath. You'll notice bubbles forming almost immediately, tiny effervescent bubbles rising to the surface like champagne. That's the peroxide breaking down and releasing oxygen. And that's exactly what you want to see, the visual proof that it's working. Those bubbles mean it's cleaning away bacteria and reoxygenating the root system, filling it with fresh breath. Leave the roots to soak for about 10 to 15 minutes, just long enough. This gives the peroxide enough time to disinfect and refresh the plant's entire root zone, penetrating deep into the hidden spaces. While that's happening, prepare some fresh, well-draining soil, creating a new home. This step matters a lot, more than people realize. If you put the plant back into the same heavy or infected soil, it'll fall sick again, repeating the cycle. Mix in some perlite, those white volcanic rock pieces, or coarse sand to improve airflow and make sure your pot has proper drainage holes at the bottom, not just decorative dimples. Remember, good soil health and drainage prevent future root rot, creating an environment where roots can breathe. This is one of the most important organic gardening practices you can follow, a cornerstone of successful plant care. Step 5. Once the soak is done, gently rinse the roots with clean water, washing away any residue, and replant your revived friend into the new soil with gentle hands. Pack the soil lightly around the base, pressing it down softly. You want it firm enough to hold the plant upright, supporting it like a gentle embrace, but not compacted, not squeezed tight. Then, and this part is key, crucial to success, don't water for the next 24 hours. Let the roots rest and breathe. Let them adjust to their new surroundings. They've just been through a lot, a complete transformation, and a little recovery time will help them settle into their new home, finding their footing. In the next few days, you'll start noticing subtle signs of recovery, small miracles. The leaves will begin to perk up, lifting toward the light. The stems will regain firmness, standing a little straighter, and the color will slowly return, washing back in like watercolor on paper. It's one of the most rewarding sights for any plant lover, proof that patience and care make all the difference. Now, here's something important, something that separates success from disappointment. This method works wonders, transforming plants that seemed lost, but only if you follow the next steps carefully. There's a simple aftercare routine that determines whether your plant fully recovers or slips back into stress, losing ground. So don't skip ahead, don't rush to the finish line. What I'll show you next is the part that makes this method work every single time, the secret to lasting recovery. Now that you've treated the roots, and given your plant a clean start, a fresh beginning, it's time to focus on recovery, on nurturing it back to full strength. This next stage is where the real transformation happens, where the plant rebuilds itself from the inside out, and it's also where many people lose patience, giving up just before the miracle. But if you follow these aftercare steps carefully, paying attention to the small details, you'll give your plant the best chance to come back stronger than ever, more resilient than before. First, find a bright spot with indirect sunlight, a place where light filters in softly. Your plant needs light to photosynthesize and rebuild its strength, to manufacture food and energy, but direct sun right now can scorch its tender new leaves, burning them before they have a chance to toughen. A spot near a bright window with filtered light is perfect, where a sheer curtain softens the intensity. It mimics the gentle warmth of a morning sun without overwhelming the plant, without asking too much too soon. You'll feel the difference in the air, cooler near the glass, softer as it filters through, the light arriving like a caress rather than a blow. Next, focus on humidity and gentle moisture, creating an atmosphere of care. Use a spray bottle to lightly mist the leaves once every day or two, sending a fine cloud of droplets that settle like dew. This helps the plant rehydrate slowly, cell by cell, and maintain a healthy moisture balance. Don't drench it, don't soak it, just a fine mist to keep the environment comfortable, almost like a light morning dew settling on the foliage as the sun rises, cool and refreshing. For the first couple of weeks, avoid using any fertilizers, no matter how much you want to speed things along. Your plant's roots are still healing, still knitting themselves back together, and concentrated nutrients can actually burn them, overwhelming the delicate new growth. Let the plant settle and rebuild naturally before you feed it again, trusting the process. You might not see much change in the first few days, and that's okay, perfectly normal. Don't worry, don't lose faith. Recovery takes time, happens in rhythms we can't always see. The plant is busy below the surface, invisible to us, repairing its root system and stabilizing, building a foundation. By the end of the first week, you'll start to see signs of life emerging. Firmer leaves that feel more substantial to the touch, brighter color washing back in like sunrise, and sometimes tiny new shoots pushing through the soil, brave and tender. Watching that progress is incredibly satisfying, deeply rewarding. It's proof that the rescue worked and your patience paid off, that faith was warranted. All right, if you want to take your plant's recovery to the next level, adding another layer of care, here's a little extra that some gardeners absolutely swear by while others say it's unnecessary. Opinions divided like garden paths. I'll let you decide what camp you're in once you try it, once you see the results with your own eyes. This is the banana peel or rice water method. Ancient wisdom meeting modern gardens. Both are gentle natural fertilizers that give your recovering plant a small nutrient boost, the kind it can handle during its healing phase, not overwhelming but supportive. Let's start with banana peel water, golden and mild. Bananas are rich in potassium and phosphorus, two nutrients that help plants grow stronger roots and new leaves, building structure and vitality. To make it, just cut up a banana peel into strips and soak it in a jar of water overnight, letting it steep like tea. In the morning, strain the liquid, which will be pale amber, and dilute it with plain water, 1 part banana peel water to 2 parts clean water. Then use it to water your plant once a week, no more. It's mild, safe, and helps replenish what the soil may have lost over time. Many gardeners who practice organic gardening love this method for its simplicity, for using what would otherwise be waste. Rice water works in a similar way, milky and starch-rich. When you rinse uncooked rice before cooking, the water turns cloudy, almost opaque. That's starch, and it contains trace minerals that promote root development, encouraging growth underground. Save that water instead of pouring it down the drain. Dilute it 1 to 2, just like the banana peel water, and use it sparingly. A small amount goes a long way, feeding without overwhelming. Here's the thing, the honest truth. Some gardeners love these methods because they're natural and sustainable, closing the loop between kitchen and garden. Others avoid them because if you overdo it or leave the mixture sitting too long, it can ferment and smell bad, turning sour and attracting gnats. My advice: try it once, experiment with an open mind, observe your plant's response carefully, and adjust from there. Every plant is different, every garden its own world, and I'd love to hear from you, to learn from your experience. Have you ever used natural fertilizers like banana peel or rice water? Did they work for you, bringing new growth and vitality, or do you have your own secret revival formula, something handed down or discovered by accident? Drop your experience in the comments. I read every one of them, savoring the stories, and who knows, your tip might make it into our next experiment, shared with gardeners around the world. Now let's take a moment to see what all that care and patience can do, the transformation we've been working toward. Here's the very same plant just 7 days after the hydrogen peroxide treatment and recovery routine. 1 week of gentle attention. Look at this, really look. The leaves are firm again, substantial and alive. That dull yellow tone has faded like a bad memory, and new green shoots are pushing through, vibrant and eager. The stems are standing upright, proud and strong. The roots have filled out nicely, spreading through the fresh soil. And the soil even smells clean and fresh, like earth after a soft rain. Wholesome and right. This is the part every gardener loves, the moment we work for. The moment when a plant you thought was gone suddenly starts thriving again. When life returns in abundance, it's more than just growth, more than green leaves. It's proof that a little knowledge and consistency go a long way, that attention matters. This is home garden inspiration at its finest, the kind that makes you want to save every struggling plant you see. If you look closely, lean in and really observe, you'll notice something else, something magical. The new leaves often grow brighter and thicker than before, more vibrant than the old ones ever were. That's because the plant is no longer struggling to survive, no longer just hanging on. It's actually using its energy to grow, to thrive, to reach upward. The bubbling peroxide soak, the gentle light, and the humidity balance all come together here, weaving into something greater than the sum of their parts. Watching this transformation never gets old, never loses its wonder. It's calming, meditative, rewarding in ways that go beyond words, and it reminds you why you started planting in the first place. There's a quiet joy in seeing life return, in feeling the texture of healthy soil between your fingers, rich and crumbly, in noticing the way a leaf catches the light just a little differently than it did yesterday, the subtle changes that mark progress. So if this video helped you, or gave your plant a second chance, breathing hope back into something you thought was lost, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It helps more plant lovers find this video and maybe save their own green friends too, spreading this knowledge like seeds. And if you've already seen signs of recovery, if your plant is showing new life, share a before and after in the comments. I'd love to see how your plant is doing, to celebrate with you. Now, sometimes your plant might still look a little sad after trying all of this, still drooping slightly, and that's okay, truly. It doesn't mean the method didn't work or that you failed. It usually means your plant needs a bit more time, or a small adjustment, a minor correction in course. Let's go through a few quick troubleshooting tips to help you figure it out, to solve the puzzle. If your plant is still wilting, even though the soil feels moist to the touch, that's a sign of overwatering, too much kindness. Ease back and let the top layer of soil dry out completely before the next watering, giving it space to breathe. You can test it by pressing your finger about an inch down into the soil. If it's still damp, wet to the touch, wait another day or two, practicing patience. If you notice brown or crispy leaf tips, dry edges like burned paper, that's usually from low humidity or too much direct sunlight, environmental stress. Try misting the leaves more often, increasing moisture in the air, or moving the plant to a slightly shadier spot, somewhere gentler. You might also consider placing it near other plants to create a more humid microclimate, a little ecosystem where moisture lingers. And if you're seeing no new growth at all after a few weeks, no shoots or fresh leaves, the issue is likely nutrients depletion. Once your plant has recovered for about 2 weeks, once it's stable, you can start using a gentle liquid fertilizer at half strength to give it the boost it needs, the extra fuel. This kind of patient, responsive plant care is what separates thriving gardens from struggling ones, what builds a relationship between gardener and garden. The key is patience and observation, watching and waiting. Plants don't always bounce back overnight, don't follow our timeline. But when you pay attention to these small signs, when you listen with care, you'll know exactly what they're asking for. Listen to the rustle of their leaves in a breeze. Notice how they lean toward the light like they're reaching for something precious. Feel the weight of the pot to gauge moisture. These small moments of connection make all the difference, transforming gardening from a task into a conversation. So before you give up, before you declare defeat, re-watch this guide, follow each step again with fresh eyes, and keep faith in the process. You've already done the hardest part. You cared enough to try, to invest time and attention. And just in case you ever face another plant emergency, another moment of worry, save this video. That way you can come back anytime your favorite plant starts to look a little tired, a little worn, finding guidance when you need it. You've just seen what's possible when you give a struggling plant a second chance, when you refuse to give up. Every wilted leaf, every weak stem, can come back with the right care and patience, with attention that honors the life you're tending. Gardening isn't about perfection, about flawless results. It's about connection, about the relationship between you and the living things you care for. These plants depend on you, trust you with their survival. And in a quiet way, they teach you to slow down, to observe, to nurture. It's peaceful gardening at its heart, a practice that brings calm to your days and life to your space, filling it with green breath. So don't give up on that dying plant sitting by your window, the one you've been watching with worry. Try this simple method. Give it a week, and watch how life begins to return, how green flows back in. You'll notice the shifts, subtle at first, then unmistakable. The way the leaves lift toward morning light, like they're greeting the sun. The way the air smells just a little greener, fresher, more alive. If this video helps you today, if it gives you hope or knowledge, subscribe and join our growing community at Ivy Circle Gardeners. We share simple, genuine gardening tips that make plant care easier and more rewarding, building a garden of shared wisdom. Whether you're into garden design, creating beauty with intentional placement, senior gardening, tending plants in a season of life that values peace, or just looking for home garden inspiration, simple ideas that spark joy, we're here to support your journey. Every step of the green path. Thank you for watching, for caring about these green lives, and for keeping a little more green in the world, one plant at a time. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep growing, keep nurturing, keep listening to the quiet language of leaves.